Okay, I'd like to call the May Town Board meeting to order. We'll salute the flag, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start this evening. We have some guests here from the Red Hook School. We have Mr. Martin, which is the business manager, and Mr. Finch, superintendent. I'm glad you guys could join us tonight to present the school budget information.
Thank you for having us. We'll be brief. Start with the bottom line. We're under the cap again. We have a budget-to-budget expenditure increase of 1.82, and the tax levy cap is 2.35 for us. Obviously, that will vary depending on the town and assessments and all that. Wanted to share a couple of really positive things that have been happening in Red Hook just recently. I was overwhelmed actually this past weekend with positive news, so I thought I'd share it with you. First time Red Hook ever held NYSSMA Festival. We hosted it, and that's a big deal for those
What
who
kind of
know that.
festival?
NYSSMA, it's a music festival.
Okay.
Students go in, they practice a particular piece, and they go in and they're with an individual judge, not from Red Hook. And they're evaluated on the piece. They're either playing the flute or singing a vocal, but it's a real big deal to host it, and we're real proud to be able to do that. Our robotics club just went to the World Championships. They were on the wait list, and then something happened. They were invited, and they met with great success. They won the Judges Award. Well, they may have won other things, but I may not be aware of them yet. But really proud of them. They've gone from a little after-school club of 4 or 5 kids to doing amazing things in the World Championship in St. Louis. So really proud of them. Also, our Model UN just got back from New York City, and we had one of our students win Best Delegate. That's David Factor, so we're proud of what they're doing. And several of our students from Linden Avenue Middle School won the Math Olympiad at Barber College. I think it was this past weekend, but it could have been last week, so we're real proud of them. A couple other things going on new this year I thought I'd just make you aware of. We're doing an intergenerational sharing program in K2, which is, invite more seasoned among us to come and share experiences growing up, or talents that they may have with young kids, and it's a great opportunity for different generations to work together, so we're hoping to expand that. We have an ELL program that just started to support our English language learners at the elementary school. It's a collaboration with an outfit called Culture Connect. They've been in Rhinebeck for years. They come and they help our ELL population get their homework done, and socialize, and learn English a little more effectively. We've got some things going on district-wide with technology. At the middle school in particular, though, we have a new tech teacher, part-time. What we did was redeploy someone just part-time to help out with digital publishing, and so we're seeing some amazing results at the middle school. And at the high school, we have a brand new principal, and that's a big deal. Roy Paisley's there for a long time. We have Philip Campbell, who's there, getting to know everybody, and by all accounts doing a really nice job, so real happy to have him. Circling back to the budget, the real story this year is health insurance. That drove, I don't know if you've experienced it here, but that drove a real big impact on our budget. It increased by about 16% for us. That's $1.4 million on our budget. So we try to figure out a way to deal with that. We have a health insurance accrual, which is essentially a reserve. We tapped that for about $600,000. We also had some additional state aid. We recognized some savings in the teacher retirement system. They've been going up and up, and now it's starting to go down. And we were tightening our belts a little bit on the expenditure side, and we were able to make it work. So the good news is we're under the cap, and we're able to maintain the program moving into next year. And somebody asked me in one of our previous meetings what our enrollment is like, and I'm happy to report that for the first time, since I've started in 2006, we started to go back up a little bit. I think we're up about 45 kids this year. So I hope that that's a trend that continues, because we have gone down from 2,300 to about just under 1,900. Now we're back up to around 1,945-ish. So I think Bruce is going to give you some more information.
So Paul really did a pretty good job of summarizing the budget, so I'll just touch on a couple of additional details. If you want to hear the lengthy version of the budget story, we do have a public hearing coming up, and that is the night after tomorrow. It's this week, Wednesday, May 3rd. It's at 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's in the 3-5 cafeteria. That's the formal public hearing on the budget. The following week, for folks who are not registered to vote and would like to vote in the school election, there's still time to get registered at the school-only registration process. That happens on Wednesday, May 10th, and that happens from noon to 9 in the 3-5 lobby at the Mill Road School. And then finally, the statewide budget vote date is Tuesday, May 16th, and in Red Hook, we will be voting that day from noon until 9 in the evening, and that will also occur in the 3-5 cafeteria. On the ballot, there will be some additional things beyond the budget that Paul just told you about. There's a board election. We have 2 seats coming up this June. And we have actually 4 candidates, one of whom is an incumbent. So we have Gretchen Werner running for the board, Lauren Rose running for the board, Dawn Morrison, who's the incumbent, will be running for the board, and Jennifer Munn. So there's a board election happening, and from those 4 folks, there are 2 seats available. So there'll be 2 folks who would take office July 1st of 2017. Also on the ballot, we have this is pretty much an annual thing. We have a bus and vehicle proposition. It's $330,000 this year. It's a hair higher than it has been in the last couple of years, but pretty much in the same range. The attempt would be to keep us on a 10-year replacement plan. Typically, we fall a little bit behind that. We don't quite keep up to a 10-year replacement plan. But if approved, this would allow us to purchase 2 full-size propane buses. The mechanics say that the propane buses are a dream in terms of maintenance. They're fantastic, much easier to maintain than the diesels. It would also allow us to purchase a wheelchair van and a smaller vehicle, a Ford Expedition, for some of the trips that we have that only have 1 or 2 students on them. And we would use the smaller vehicle for that transportation. Also on the ballot, and we'll let them talk for a few minutes when we're finished here, the Red Hook Library has a proposition on the ballot. And we have, for a number of years, I'm going to say 10, but that's an approximation, we've had a student board member who sits on the board as a non-voting board member, and typically it's the student council president. We think that that's been a great success. It brings a whole nother perspective to the discussions that we have at the board table. But by statute, we have to have the community reapprove that every 2 years, and this is the year that that's on the ballot. So again, May 16th is the statewide budget vote date, and we will vote from noon to 9 in the Mill Road cafeteria. And I don't know how you want to order this. If you please, we'll let the library folks say a couple of words, or we could take questions and then they can do their presentation, however you'd like to proceed.
Just a couple of questions, if you don't mind. I was just curious, have you guys anticipated the additional funding for the, coming in for you guys? Did you put that in the budget, or you?
Well, it was an interesting story. The state was a little late this year. We actually pushed back our budget adoption. The board has to adopt the budget. We actually pushed back the board budget adoption by a couple of weeks, and in that period of time, I was a little surprised because the governor said he thought it would be another number of weeks. It would be after their recess, and actually it didn't turn out that way. I thought when the governor said we won't settle it till after the recess, I thought they wouldn't settle it till after the recess, but they got it done. And so we were really able to build our budget based on a settled state budget, a known tax cap amount. So we really were able to build it on the same known information that we've had in the past, even though they were a little late this year.
My second question is, how was your fund balance doing? Did you put anything back into it? Did you hit it again this year?
We have, over the last few years, we've stayed relatively stable. We actually ended 2015-16 lower than 2014-15, but only modestly lower. We've maintained the amount that we've appropriated from one year to the next. This budget continues to maintain what we're appropriating from one year to the next, although I would be anticipating that both because we dipped into some one-time money and also really had to tighten down on some contingency money, I think the 17-18 budget will produce less money going forward. So I think we'll see a smaller fund balance at the end of 2017-18 than what we have at the end of 2016-17.
All right, thank you. Yeah, if the library would like to talk, then we can do any other questions.
Hello,
How are you?
my name is Dawn Jardine, I'm the director, and this is Mary Elisa.
Blundell, and I'm the president of the library board. So I'm going to leave it to Dawn to speak.
Okay.
Thank you very much for having us.
I'm going to give you these so that I don't have to talk too much about what's going on at the library now and this summer. That's our summer reading program brochure. Our library is situated sort of at the hub of Northern Dutchess, so close to where 199 and 9 come together. And as a result, we see a lot of traffic at Red Hook Library. And because of the traffic that we see, the people that we serve, the circulation that we have, and the programming that we do, we're actually rated in the top 1% of the country, which is actually pretty cool for a small little octagonal library. And last year, you may know that we did a renovation upstairs. It was completely paid for by grants and a capital campaign. And that allowed us to open our space a little bit. We have a meeting room now that the public is free to use. It's used for our programming and also for some quiet study time when people need that. So we have that extra capability now as well. A very important thing in being a successful small library, of course, is programming. And our programming has expanded immensely. We now teach science to 2-year-olds, and we teach science to seniors and everybody in between. We have all kinds of programming. Something new that's not in the summer brochure is our homebound service delivery. We are now bringing books out into the community. We're also doing that with our pop-up library, which last year hit the road all summer once a week, and this year we are able to do it twice a week. We do that with the cooperation of Mill Road School and Bard College. And we actually use a van from Bard College. So we get out into the community and we bring our programming with us, teaching science and all kinds of STEAM activities. And as a result of all this growth and the fact that we live in a 150-year-old octagon, we are asking for a modest increase. It will cost the average homeowner about $3.55 more per year. And it's Proposition 3 on the school budget ballot. And I'd be glad to take any questions now, or if you think of anything later, you're welcome to call me.
Just curious, I know it's a couple times in the past there's been increases. What is the actual percentage of the increase?
Depends how you look at it. It's about 5.8% of our entire budget.
That's what, right, is exactly what it is.
How much of an increase in the taxation is that, right? Because that would be the relevant question to me.
Well, once again, the 5.8% of our budget is translated to approximately $3.55. That would be an estimate on a house that's assessed at like $250,000, your average house assessment. So that would be how it's translated into. Is that what you were asking?
No, I'm saying, you have other sources of money that are tax, right? So if today the average 250 house was paying $3.50, it would be a doubling of the tax. I'm sure those numbers are wrong, but I'm asking
Right.
what's your percent
Well,
increase in the tax?
2/3 of our funding comes from a town tax. Is that
Right.
correct?
Right.
Right.
That's different. So this tax on the school district, the increases only represents really that portion of what we get. So it goes towards this third of the budget.
So what percentage would that be?
Well, if you're asking like what is the percentage on the 259, the actual proposition, the monies that are collected through the school district, that I think will equate to about a 16% increase. But once again, it's only because that's small amount, that 5%, almost 6%, we are only going to go through the school district referendum, the 259 referendum. So the other tax levy through the town is not going to change. So it seems like a lot of, a higher percentage, but it is a smaller portion of our budget, and we're asking for that additional money to match our growth and to actually to pay for many of the other things that,
Right.
like healthcare.
So
So
it's
in
the
the prior-
1/3 part that's increasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I understood.
You understand?
Yeah, so-
Okay.
In the prior year,
Yes.
how much was raised through the school? And then after this, if it passes, how much would be raised? Just, 50,000?
Well,
Or-
like we're actually, it's going to translate to about an additional $20,000 approximately for us. That's approximately what we're asking for.
Okay.
And many of that is because we have grown, we have more staff. We are also looking at our staff is eventually going to have to meet the minimum wage that is going to be coming in. So we're trying to prepare for that.
So
And-
it's a 20,000 increase and the total,
The total budget,
no, the total that you're raising through the school district is some number and you're raising that by 20,000.
Correct.
What's that number?
the total number
Yeah.
is,
It was 150, I believe.
So it's going from like 115 to 135-ish.
I think that's about right.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It'd be $115,000.
It is now,
Yeah. And you're
That's
adding
right.
another 20,000 to that,
yes.
which is bringing it up to 135,000.
Yeah.
So how much, when you add the $3 per household, what does that number then become, $52?
Well, I think for the Red Hook Public Library, it's probably going to be, and again, like I can only look at my own, assessment. So I pay just under $100 for, I think, both libraries, for all the libraries, for the Tivoli Library and the Red Hook Public Library. So it's going to add, I think it's just under $100, so I'll be adding, it'll get a little closer, it'll get $3.55 closer to that number. So, and again, it depends on your assessment, what your assessment is. And there is a line item for the Tivoli Library, and if you look at your tax bill, and then there is also a line for the Red Hook Public Library. And so, yes, so that's.
It wasn't
Any
too
other
many
questions?
years ago that you had an 80 or 90% increase. Right?
Well,
Was it
we
a couple
went,
years or was it more than that?
it was 2000,
Quite a few.
yeah, it was many years ago, like 2000, okay, so as long as I've been on the board, the first thing we did was, we used to be a line item on each of the town and the village's budget. So when the village of Red Hook and the town of Red Hook had their budget, they would have X number of dollars for the Red Hook Public Library, which was really a very small amount, and it was dictated through that. George Pataki and his administration wrote legislation called the Chapter 414, which allowed entities like the public libraries to go directly to the taxpayer and create a budget of their own, and then sell it to the community. It's like, if this is what you want from your library, are you willing to go this way? And so, that was the chapter, the 414, and that was probably in 2007 when we first did that. And that was a big increase, because we really went from a part-time library open like sort of, odd hours, and we became a full-time library with a director and open, 6 days a week with regular hours and programming for kids, and every programming for everyone from 6 months old to 90.
I remember it wasn't too many years ago that the total that was raised through the school district budget, along with the school, not through the budget.
Yes,
but
yes.
along with this budget, was $50,000
Correct.
for both libraries.
It was $25,000 for each of the libraries, and that was probably passed somewhere, I don't know, 20, I think, I'm not really sure the date that preceded my involvement in the library, maybe it was the 19
I
something.
think it was in the late 1990s.
97,
It
maybe?
was quite a while ago.
Correct, I
And it stayed
remember,
that way for quite a while,
correct,
and then just a few years ago, and I don't know if it was 2 or 5 or
yes.
I know you were here talking about it, and it was an 80 or 90% increase for Red Hook, and
Well-
a 60 or 70% increase for Tivoli.
But once again, like, it's hard to, that's because it's only one of the portions of our tax levy. So the 414 is one avenue of collection, and then the 259 is another one. And so because those numbers were pretty small, when you increase them, it becomes a large percentage. And since, again, we're only asking for a 5.8% of our entire budget increase, which is really going to be somewhere in the order of like $20,000. And if we're getting it from only one place, from one of those, it becomes, it does translate to a bigger percentage. And so percentages are difficult to look at, to sometimes understand. But yes, you are correct. But please understand the big picture.
So the
That's what I-
135,000 now
Yes.
is just for the Red Hook Library.
Correct.
And Tivoli, so you've actually gone from 25,000
Well,
to
over
135,000.
a very long time. Now, if you were to look at,
Very long. It's not 20 years. Well, 2000, yeah, I guess it is.
come on, if you had held your budget that low for that long, you would really have
We haven't
less.
had a tax increase since I've been on the board.
Wow, you guys are good.
That's 8 years.
Would you like to sit on our board as well? We are looking for another board member.
All right.
But anyway, the other point that you may not realize, but the state has designated town of Clermont to be, I mean, many of us that live in Red Hook School District do have membership in the Red Hook Library.
Yes,
I
we
do.
know.
The state has designated Clermont as being under the Germantown Library. And we make a donation to the Germantown Library every year. It's not very much, but so those of us that live in the Red Hook School District actually pay for 2 libraries, well, 3 down Tivoli. And the
But
people
what
that live
a
in the
wonderful
Germantown.
investment in your
And the people
community.
that live in the
It's a
Germantown
wonderful
School District
investment, and think
pay
of
for
all the
one.
places and things you can do with all those 3 local, those are great libraries, and I applaud you for donating to the Germantown Library. I'm sure they're incredibly appreciative of it. So thank you very much.
In reality, the libraries all work very much together. So we are working on an event with Tivoli in June.
Yeah, we do.
For Apple Blossom Day, we'll have Pine Plains and Tivoli with us. Working together with all the libraries in the system, you have access to 2.25 million items. In reality, in one day, we see patrons from the entire area. People come in with Rhinebeck cards, with Pine Plains cards, with Kingston cards, Kingston, Poughkeepsie, everywhere. So people don't really stay with one library.
Are you seeing an increase in book readership, or?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because people aren't buying books much anymore, they're going online.
Well, actually, I just
Ebook,
saw
the price
something
of
today.
the circulation of print books has remained steady for a couple years. Circulation of the ebooks is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And those are the books that people download through the library, so
Okay.
they can download them at home with their
Right.
feet up on the coffee table. That's what I do.
But you can get them for free from the library.
Right, as opposed to
Either
buying
one
it
of your
from
libraries
Amazon.
that you are paying into.
Right,
Okay.
it's all basically the same system.
All right, I think we've given these lovely ladies a hard enough time.
We
For $20,000, these guys are asking for millions.
We appreciate all the questions. It helps us clarify, and, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Yeah. And remember, I know your name now.
Thank you.
Can
I
You have
ask
a
a
question?
question? Yeah, what's your total budget? I didn't get that one.
It's just over 52 million.
Okay.
682.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great.
All right.
Anything else
Thank you,
for us?
Jen.
No, thank you very much, thank you. Okay, see you later.
Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it. If we haven't scared off Sue Brown, I'd like to ask Sue to join us from Germantown School District.
I was going to.
Thank you for coming in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is hot off the presses, so
Thank you.
have it, you're welcome. Little budget newsletter. So first of all, I'd like to introduce to the board Jonathan Bohm, who is our new business official at Germantown Central School. And he's been with us only a couple of months.
January 15th.
Crazy timing for.
You still there? You still here?
I'm still there.
Still here.
Good.
Scared me off yet.
So our budget vote is the same day as Red Hook's, May 16th. We are also 12 noon to 9 p.m. One quick reminder to all of the folks in the Germantown Central School District that as of last year, you do need to be either a registered voter or to come to the school to register for school-only voting. That started last year and is continuing on. And just, I'm sorry.
Is there an opportunity for them to register the day of, or?
They cannot register the day of. The only thing that we can do is on the day of the budget vote, if they come in, they can fill out a registration for the next voting that occurs.
Okay, good, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to have Jonathan speak a bit about the budget, but I would love to highlight a few things that are going on at Germantown. We're 5 students and 2 teachers just returned from China, where they spent over a week, 10 days I believe it was, with our sister school in China. Each alternate year, the school sends students to stay with the families in Germantown and attend school with the Germantown students, and then on the opposite year, we send a group there. So that trip just ended. It was a really wonderful trip. We have our Odyssey of the Mind students have done very, very well this year. This is our 3rd year participating. It's done through an after-school volunteer group. A bunch of parents who put in a whole bunch of time with the children. That's kind of new and exciting at Germantown. On the front, you'll see a quick capital project update. Lots and lots of questions about when we're going to break ground, which unfortunately should have happened right about now. But there is a bit of a long queue at New York State Education Department waiting for approvals, and so our project will not begin until a year from now. But that is an architect's rendering of what the auditorium and music suite will look like, being attached to the south end of our elementary gym. Lots of exciting things going on. Grandparents' Day is coming up. Our softball and baseball students are finally outside, and boy, were they waiting for that rain to stop so we could get them out there. So very busy place. I'll have Jonathan speak a bit to the budget and the budget process that we use to generate the proposed budget this year.
So just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Jonathan Bohm. I grew up actually in Chatham. My experience, I was a district treasurer up at the Chatham Central School District for 4 years before the opportunity for a business official down in Germantown opened. And Sue thought it was a good fit, and I think it's a great little school district. So to get into the budget, this year me and Sue worked really hard trying to make a very lean budget, because in the previous years we've been using a little bit more fund balance than we're comfortable using. With that being said, our budget for this year is $14,790,612. That's actually only an increase of $5,802. This includes a tax levy increase of 2.71%. And this also includes a use of fund balance of $462,363, which is a a large decrease from the previous year, which was around 800,000. Quick and dirty, Andy.
Couple questions. Is that the maximum amount you're allowed to raise under
Yes,
staff?
yeah.
That's what you're.
We feel that if we're using fund balance, we should try to go as high as we can.
Okay. Similar question I had for Red Hook. Did you actually use the anticipated revenues, or did you wait for?
We were in a very similar theory. We kind of waited, and we were surprised to see on Monday morning that we got, the state was passed, and we were able to put in the actual numbers for the state aid.
Okay. That's pretty simple. Since I'm the only one on the board here, so Germantown School District. Well, we do have a lot of people, obviously, that watch this. I was just a little surprised that the capital project, you said didn't get put in, but it's going to be brought for an entire year. You're not going to start till 2018.
I believe the weight at state ed is, they're
It's
estimating
unbelievable.
40 weeks right now.
We're not the only ones
That's
that
the
have
way.
this problem.
Okay. All right. And how long is that project anticipated to take once they break ground?
2 years.
2-year project?
We hope to get all of the construction done in one, but because of the fields, and you can't use the fields afterwards, so it'll extend out 2 years.
So my kids will still be there. I'm
Oh,
hoping you
yeah.
enjoy it.
And we hope to have the auditorium done in one. That's the plan.
Good.
The other thing I want to mention is we are progressing, Mr. Finch had mentioned STEAM programs, and Germantown is now, we have a coding elective in the high school. We have, we're contemplating maybe a co-teaching situation between a math teacher and our technology teacher. And we're very excited about those initiatives, and more importantly, students are very excited about those initiatives. A lot of interest, and the workforce, of course, is pretty much wide open for those kids. So we're excited about that as well.
Okay. One other question just to come to mind. In the budget, did you put in anything more for, as far as presence of the sheriff's department? I know a lot of schools have been doing it full-time. I know we're sharing one
We did
part-time.
not do that.
You still keeping the part-time?
Yes.
So the way it's working now? Okay. So I know other schools have actually budgeted a full-time sheriff, which I don't know, which, you know, they're charging hands on too, but.
We've not done that.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Is there anything else on the ballot, like a bus proposition or board members? Or?
No, we contract all of our transportation out, so we don't own buses, but we do have 2 seats open on the board, and that will be on the ballot as well.
And how many are running for those seats?
1 person.
One person running for 2 seats?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, we do have a question?
Yeah, what's the enrollment?
Right now, we're 550, which is,
You had an increase as well.
actually, that was a very big decrease this year,
Oh, okay, sorry, okay,
completely unforeseen.
all right. Oh, you had 580 last year, there you go. All right, got it.
Okay, any further questions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
ELL or anything of that sort from Clermont, just like in Red Hook?
Yes, we're required by state mandate to provide that program, and we do have a population of students who come here for the harvest season and stay really less, just a little under half of our year. A year ago, we had some weather that really wiped out the harvest season for us, and those students did not come to Germantown, but I've already talked to the farmers, and everything looks great, and we will see them again in September.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate you
much.
coming in. Thanks to everybody out the vote, thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to see you all.
Again, thank you again.
All right. Your call, your questions.
We will.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Move on to,
Nice to meet you.
regular agenda, move on to the tower, approving the prior town board meeting minutes.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right. Mary, move on to the clerk report? Oh, I'm sorry.
I will.
If I get it back.
Okay. Town clerk's report for April 2017. Dog licenses, $47.50. Building permits, $825. Certificates of occupancy, $35.
Town clerk fees for marriage license, $17.50. Solid waste fees, $1.50. Total for the general fund, $926.50. Paid to New York State Department of Health for the marriage license, $22.50. Agriculture and markets for the dog surcharges, $19. Columbia County Solid Waste, $18.50. Total for April, $986.50.
Thank you, Mary. Motion approved, clerk's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, mail review. What do we have? Anything?
Not too much.
Not too much?
We do have the Office for the Aging newsletter for April to June. I put copies on the front table.
Okay.
And we did get a notice from the town of Saugerties. They're amending their existing local law, number 3 of 2017. And I don't, let's see, give us a date. Public hearing, no? I'm sorry, I don't see,
No date?
I don't see that information. Just here is what they're going to be doing. But I don't see a date. I guess they're just letting us know. I just got this today. In fact, I went to Germantown for it, and it wasn't at the post office, so I asked them to bring it to my house. And I never got to read it, so just got it, 4 o'clock or so when he came. So no, I don't see a date. But they are going to amend it. Their schedule of district use regulations, standards for certain uses requiring special permits, and that's it.
You want to just, maybe you want to read that quick, the public notice?
Okay.
We can do that there.
All right, notice of public hearing. Please take notice that Columbia County Highway Superintendent Bernie Kelleher shall hold a public hearing pursuant to Highway Law, Section 205, on May 25th, 2017, at 11 a.m. at the Clermont Town Hall, 1795 Route 9, Clermont, New York, to consider and determine the qualified abandonment of approximately 0.15 miles of the town of Clermont Highway known as Teeter Lane, running from said highway's intersection with Lasher Road to its terminus. Dated May 1st, 2017, signed Bernie Kelleher, Columbia County Highway Superintendent.
I don't think that's 1.5.
Point, she said 0.15.
0.15.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Okay, perfect. And the only other thing I wanted to add is wanted to look up the Columbia County Hazardous Waste Collection Day is going to be June 17th, 8 a.m. to noon, 12 noon. And that's at the County Highway Garage at Greenport. So if anybody, the flyer should
What
be
was the time?
8 a.m. to 12 noon, June 17th. So if you have any hazardous materials you'd like to turn in, they'll be accepting them at the Greenport Highway Department. Excuse me, the Columbia County Highway Department, Greenport. Okay. All right, correspondence to the web committee. Do you have any questions, comments, complaints?
I did get 2 emails through our contact form on the website. One was a number of emergency preparedness links that we might find useful to put on the site. So I forwarded that to the board members and we can look at it and decide what seems appropriate.
My only concern about doing something like that is the accuracy of the information. And then if someone were to rely on it, what is our risk?
Right.
That's, generally, it's just how do we vet that kind of information? I'm not against doing it, it's just how do we make sure it's good for you?
The other concern I have related to that is sometimes the link will go away, so if
Right.
you're checking, you have that link for a while. And then the second request I got was inquiry about emails of public officials, if we could put those on the website. So I don't personally have an objection to that, but depending on what the rest of the board members feel.
Again, it's just, reiterate my comments, I think on any elected official position, I don't have a problem with that. I don't really think we need to put every single board member, everybody's email on there, but as an elected official, you're open season, so I think that would be, fine with me. I don't know if anybody else has a problem with that. Everybody's gonna be trying Bob's email out, but he doesn't have to worry about it. But I don't know how everybody else feels, but I don't have a problem, at least the elected officials.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
So if it's something simple, you can.
That should be pretty
take care of.
simple to do.
Okay.
But just give me your email.
I'll do that.
All right.
That was it for me.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. Reports, Bob?
Yeah, most people notice that the remediation is back in full swing. And a few concerns with that, but we'll be meeting with some of them later in the week, I guess. Jimmy's still looking for another used tractor and not having great success. There was one that was being bid. He told me that one went for a little less than he expected, but it was quite a ways away. He doesn't like to bid on something unless he can go and take a look at it and make sure it's in good shape. But he is still trying. I suspect that we're probably going to end up looking at a new one next year. One we had now, he said there are some problems with it, but they're getting by with it. And if it goes out completely, there is the possibility of renting a tractor when they get it.
Well, we certainly, I'd like to address it before that happens if we can, but yeah, we'll keep, see what we can find, and we'll certainly take care of what we need. If we need to buy one, we'll have to buy it. We'll just budget part of it this year, take the rest of that next year. So that's fine.
Also, he's getting some extra money from what they call winter recovery money that is handled through CHIPS. It's a different program, but it's handled by the same people. And it's a reimbursement money, so he's going to, some of the work that he's doing, he'll be submitting to get some of that back.
What kind of work?
One of the things he wants to do is put up some guardrails on the hill on Pleasantville Road, because there's been wooden posts there that hasn't stopped, like someone was falling down. And that last storm we had, there were some cars that were getting kind of stuck along there, so it's not a good idea to have some guardrails there. And it was a pretty steep drop off on both sides.
Okay. All right.
With regard to the remediation, I saw that they had taken some soil out to try to divert the water from where it was puddling.
Yeah.
Do you know if that's pretty much the extent of what they're going to do there? Is there going to be something more? I kind of see it as a Band-Aid over something that is wrong, and I don't see it, it's really not corrected, but it's better. So I don't know if that's the end of...
That's the extent of what they're planning to do now. But we have a meeting.
We have a meeting coming up this week. We couldn't get it before the board meeting, unfortunately. We have a meeting coming up this week to meet with the Michael Mason from the DEC and the engineer in the project. And we're going to have our county engineer join us as well. To find out, where are we at? Is this it? Is this what you're going to do? Or, we're going to go over some of those details and find out.
Okay.
As of right now, it looks like that's what they did. I don't know if that's what their extent was. I think it is.
Yeah, I saw what they
But,
did.
yeah, they just kind of took it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the fix, although nobody's going to want to do it, is to raise the pavement. I think that's the real fix, but this is a Band-Aid, maybe it'll be effective enough. But
So we're going to follow
I
up
see it
on
as a
that.
Band-Aid. It's,
Yeah, there's a second dip. There's one dip coming off of Route 9, which needs to be there because you have to slope away from the road. And then you start to go up. Then you go up, and then there's a dip, and you go up again. You've seen that.
It's the second dip that
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's one that we're concerned about as well. We don't want water staying in there.
Yeah, it'll freeze, it'll just be a big patch of mud, it'd be a nice skating rink maybe, but that could be hazardous in the winter too. I mean,
It can be fixed fairly easily. I'm not sure about cost-wise, but I was talking with George this morning, And he said that they make a very fine blacktop that's
Right.
used for what they call shimming,
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
and that could be done. And, you know, when I talked to the foreman on the job, he said that they followed the contour of the land, which is what they were supposed to do, but
Well, they made the contour too.
well, yeah, that's true too. That's some of what we're gonna go into to answer your direct question.
That's their
what
intent.
That's what they are planning now.
Okay.
And the foreman told me if the DEC tells Tom, who's the superintendent, and Tom tells him, then he'll do something different.
Right.
So right now, that's
Okay.
where it's at.
So it'll all hinge on our meeting this week, so we'll see where we end up with that.
Okay.
And again, we'll update everybody next month. Okay, all right, Evan? You got anything? Okay. Chris, you got anything?
No, just the laptops. Mary and I will be going over her new laptop. So that she can.
And going over it until I remember.
All right, good, I had that on the old business of the laptop, so, good, all right.
Now that we're just about done out there though, you had looked into backstops at one time, I think. Do we
Yeah.
have some information on that that's
Uh,
still valid, or?
I think we
Right.
submitted that as part of.
Right, well,
Maybe Dawn, that's on Dawn's list.
yeah, I have that, since the last meeting, I received notice from the Bank of Greene County that we were awarded $500 for a grant, that I had applied for $2,500, and we were awarded $500. So between the Bank of Greene County grant and the grant for Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation, between the two of them, I applied for $5,000, and we received $500. And we don't have a date as to when we will receive the $500 in the past. The application deadline is January 15th. They give you a notice of award in 90 days, and then we receive the money sometime during the summer. We do have information on backstops. I don't know if that's anything different than what we would
I
want
think
to
the
do now.
information is about the same. It's about just under $2,000 for the complete assembly, and I believe it was around $750
Right.
for delivery.
Installation. No,
No,
you're right,
it's
just
just
delivery.
delivery. It's
You're
just
right, just
delivery.
delivery.
So it was like 27, 28
Yes. But it was I looked at several of them, and this one in particular was a little heavier duty, bigger diameter posts, compared with some of the others who offered about the same price, $2,700. So I think this company offers the best product for the dollar amount.
I don't remember the name of the company.
I don't remember it either, but
But
I
I know I have
have.
the email.
Yeah.
Along that line, one of the things we should remember to make sure we'll talk to the people doing remediation is that they clearly mark out where they dug deeper to put the backstop.
Yeah, I'll put stakes in now, they
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah.
it. We'll do that. All right, well, that's great news for the grant. Glad to hear that, Bank of Greene County, or something, Berkshire, we haven't heard back, right?
No, we did hear
So-
back from them, and that was very competitive.
Oh, we did hear it.
They only awarded
That's
10 grants this year, and they awarded, I believe, $35,000, and they had requests for almost $130,000. So it was really very competitive. And they wanted to be able to fully fund projects, so they did less number of projects this year than last.
All right.
So I'm still on lookout for that, but I don't have anything right now.
Okay. All right, well, we'll continue to look for any opportunities we can to apply for some money to help us out.
Can I just, it has to do with DC and grants. Did you find anything on fencing and trees?
I haven't yet, but some new,
Screening, since we're moving ahead now?
I did have information forwarded to me today that I could look at as far as, what next steps for the project. One was some grant, and I just got them today, so I didn't have a chance to look at them. One was from the DEC under the Hudson River Estuary Program, And a lot of that has to do with access to the river, but there is also things for more inland things. So I'll look at that, and that grant deadline is July 12th. The other was some information that Mary Howard sent to me regarding climate smart communities. That's due July 28th. It's also a 50-50 match. I know one thing that Mary pointed out to me is that we could use some of that money to do update our comprehensive plan. We could use that money could be used for that. There is also other uses under that might be we might be able to apply to the property or whatever. I haven't had a chance to look at that. To do the definitely the DEC, and I didn't see it, but it's probably there also for the climate smart money, is that we need to be pre-qualified through the grants gateway for New York State. And several years ago, it's kind of a good idea, but it's a little onerous. That what they basically want you to do is complete this application and be pre-qualified, so that as these grants come up, they make sure that you're all up to date. You know, we would give them information about our budget, if we have like conflict of interest policies, or kind of a little inventory of our board members. And you would then, on an ongoing basis, if any of those documents expire or need to be updated, you would just automatically do that, so that at any point in time, you know, any agency in New York State has the same information on you when you apply for grants, and you're not meeting the specific needs of this department or this agency. So I will proceed and do that first. And it shouldn't take me that long, I don't think. And that way, you know, if we get and find that we would like to apply for any of the other ones, you know, we'll be ready and not having to wait to do that. So I'll start doing that. Right now, I'll have a better opportunity to report better information next meeting about these two grant opportunities. And the one other thing I wanted to talk about was the Easter egg hunt. I have to say that it really turned out to be a great day. And it started at 2 o'clock. And there was one small family that came here at 1:15, and they were all kind of hanging out and you know, kind of waiting for us to start. And the father came back to us at the end of the day and said that they come every year from Austerlitz. They travel over an hour, that this is the best one. They actually live closer to Massachusetts than they do to here. And that they love this one here, and all the opportunities for, you know, and what it's everything that we do here. So I thought that was a really nice statement about the program that we put on. And it's, you know, I know myself, this is about the third year I've done it. It's really a great group of people to work with. And I think, you know, this year in particular, I think, you know, it really worked out nice. Everybody had a really nice time.
Good. Yeah, it was very nice. Excellent. Okay. Perfect, thanks, Dawn. Just jump ahead. Old business had a DEC update. We just covered a lot of it, but the only thing I'd like to bring up is Bob brought up a good point. You know, obviously we're coming to the end of the actual remediation process this evening. We are going to start looking at the screening issues, and Bob brought up Scenic Hudson offers an architect that's you know, actually works with towns, landscape architect, that will help work with the towns and possibly design some screening and some list of what we're looking to do. So we're going to be getting in contact with them and bringing them down and starting to look at this. And you know, it's not going to happen overnight. We're obviously now we're moving on to the screening issue, which we said we would do, and we will start looking at that and trying to coordinate some kind of layout, and then we'll go for funding, grants, fundraising, whatever we need to do, and see where we can budget some money. We'll see if we can, you know, as we finish this up and know where we are money-wise. We'll see what we can do for next year as far as getting it in this year and then into next year. So, but that's an excellent resource for us to take advantage of. So it is coming.
We've talked for years about possibly doing some kind of a walking trail, nature interpretive trail. We put different kinds of trees and label them so people can come and see the differences and different kinds of plantings and things. And that's one of the things that's still in the back of my mind that I'd like us to do at some point. And what Ray was referring to, we were talking before, that in conjunction with that, maybe if we got some landscape architect help to plan some of that, that we could kind of work some amount of screening into that. I don't know if we're, you know, if we'll end up with that kind of screening that you're looking for or not, but hopefully we'll do some.
I'm thinking of Jennifer Phillips and, you know, the young folks who have, you know, a driveway now in front of their house. And, I mean, it's liability and, you know, their lifestyle are getting impacted. I'm further away, but what happened is with the raising of the ground, you know, the trucks look like they're in on my porch. I mean, it's just, you change the geophysicality of this area. Fine. It's also a point, I think, where you can get, so you know, that's my concern, to say, look, as you're putting in backstops, people are starting to come in, you know, there might be, it needs to go a little bit faster, and you know, those are wonderful plans. So I don't know, you know, we'll find a balance, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, there's going to be no activity on this year. I mean,
yeah,
planting the grass, nothing's going to be happening this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be for next year
Yeah.
possibly, so, you know, but yes, we do need to get moving on. That's, I wanted to see where we ended up, and we're definitely moving into the next phase, so.
And then, you know, I think, you know, it's a wonderful idea of the paths. This is really where you get the community also involved. I think that's the point where everybody can then be a stakeholder, and they'll change everything.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely, stay tuned, it's coming.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, there's been some talk in the past about some forever wild areas, and along with that walking path, you know, one of the things I've thought about is, and I've seen a couple articles recently in the Hudson Valley where people have been putting in habitats for monarch butterflies. That would be, you know, an area can be set aside for that too. And if the butterflies in it, when you're walking around, they're kind of colorful, and that it would just be a different kind of unique walking path.
Yeah, I'm afraid that you'll attract people to come, because I think people do want that passive kind of engagement. So, cool.
Okay. All right. Laptop, again, we covered a lot of that. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that. I mean, you have the laptop from Mary now, we're good.
Yeah.
And it's, she's going to be working into the new one.
At some point, yes.
We have the hardware,
Okay.
how did you end up with the software?
We did not purchase Microsoft Office. So we're going to move forward with what we have now, and if that doesn't work for Mary, then we're going to look at that later. So we didn't want to buy it up front unless we knew we were going to move in that direction. And that's based on the documents and the forms that Mary has.
All right, so you're going to work with Mary to
I'll
iron
be
this out.
working with Mary.
You're going to be sorry, man.
I might already be. Just
Thank
looking
you.
at Mary makes me feel.
Thank you in advance, Chris.
I'm already sorry.
I want to see excitement, Mary.
All right, Teeter Lane update, we just went over that, Mary read the public notice, we just actually received that today or yesterday, I don't know, today I think, right? Confirming the date for May 25th at 11 a.m., the public hearing. Bernie Kelleher from the County Superintendent of Highways will be here to conduct this public hearing on that date. So, you know, we really don't, if anybody wants to attend, it is a public meeting. We don't have to be here, we don't need a quorum. I have to be here, but whoever can attend is more than welcome. But there's really nothing we're going to do. We're not taking any action until our board meeting. So he holds the hearing. I just obviously need to be here. So. And paver sale has been completed. We have received the payment of $3,000 that came in this month, and you'll see the deposit report on the back. So we do have that completed, and so we're good.
Can we put that into the equipment fund and tractor fund?
We can, absolutely. That's where it should go.
How much was that?
$3,000. And that, if everybody remembers, was shared between Livingston, Germantown, and us. We all received $3,000 each. We're going to lease this piece of equipment, or a new piece of equipment, when we need to pave the roads, which is going to work out actually a little bit better than, you know, it's only because that piece of equipment did take a lot of maintenance, a lot of work, and they just felt it was, for the little bit they needed, it was make more sense to lease it. So,
Yeah, it was good while they had it.
It worked great for several years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 2007 or 2008.
It's been probably at least, is it that long?
I think so.
No, it was after that. After
Yeah.
that.
2008, wasn't much
10 years ago?
after that, yeah, I think
Uh,
so.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, but I think it was later.
I think it was later too, because I think it was
You
since
do?
I've been on the board.
Okay.
No, no, no.
but it was quite a few years.
Okay, new business, just some updates really on this. We do have some bids open, but sales tax revenue, I just wanted to report, we received our first quarter sales tax payment. Sales tax payment, it's in the deposits, was $84,180.93. This is good news again. It's up about 4.5% from last year, which was up about 3 or 4% the year before. So it is trending in the upward direction, which is excellent news since that's a big part of our revenues. The last quarter, December, was actually a little higher. It dipped, but now it shot back up. So I was talking to the treasurer the other day, and he says he doesn't have any reason for it other than just people are spending more, the economy's doing a little better. And, we're just happy to see an increase, so if that continues, we'll certainly help our bottom line at the end of the
That's
year.
actually good news, because what you hear on the news is a lot of people are buying online, and some of the brick and mortar stores are going having trouble, so.
Yeah, no, it's excellent news, I say it every time we talk about sales tax, spend local, buy local.
Every time gasoline goes up, we get a little more too.
Yeah.
That's a plus, that makes
And that's been fairly low, so I mean, if it did go up, it would certainly be a little bit more. The other thing is, the big revenue, one of our other pieces of revenue from the county is mortgage tax. I have not received the confirmation on what that is going to be for the semi-annual payment. We should be getting that this month. The clerk was not at the last board meeting to update us on the figures, but I have heard the rumor that it is a little higher than it was last year, which is great. So, that's not a big deal because it's a small amount, but it's higher, it's better than anticipated, which is great news, it's extra revenue. So, I'll have that number at the next meeting. Bob already mentioned the extra funding for the winter recovery. I have to confirm that amount. I'm just gauging it by what the county is anticipating. They're anticipating an extra $250,000 roughly, which is about half again as much of the additional CHIPS money we received the year before. I'm going to guess somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000. It could possibly be up to 9,000 if that's correct, but it is additional funding that we did not have budgeted, did not anticipate, which again is great for the highway department. If he's got some extra use for it, certainly not a problem. Putting guardrails in, whatever extra he needs to get done that he can use this funding for is great. It's unbudgeted, so I'll certainly accept the extra money and put it to work. And there's also the emergency storm. FEMA is actually they're putting for FEMA reimbursement for that large storm. The county, the county and the town have actually qualified, but they're waiting for the state to qualify. If that goes through, it could be an additional maybe $10,000 in extra revenue coming back for reimbursement from that large storm that we put out a lot of extra materials and man-hours for. So we'll have to update everybody on that one. Hold their breath on that one, but the other one is pretty much a guarantee. Okay, that's about it. The bid opening. We made a little bit of a mistake. I made a little bit of a mistake. Last month we talked about putting out a bid for the town hall roof repairs. We spoke about not thinking we could get the bids in by May 1st, which is this meeting. And I says, okay, we'll change the date till June 5th, which is our next meeting. And when I gave Mary the public notice, I forgot to change the date. So we actually had it publicized and for tonight's meeting, bid openings. But luckily, we did have four different bids come in, so we do have enough, I consider enough to open the bids and then go with these bids. But it was advertised correctly, just not the date we talked about last month. It was advertised correctly and then we put out the bid. So at this point, I'd say we open up the bids and see where we end up. First bid is from Titan Roofing. And this is what we discussed about the town hall roof. There's several shingles missing, blowing off, and they're aged. Obviously, we've had leaks on the one side, so this is why we decided. Yeah, good. So we put this out to bid. Okay, proposal, approximately 28 square. Rather than read every line of it, bottom line.
You want to look at them first, Rennie? I just remember in the past where there was
discrepancies.
Yeah.
Well, let's the company and the total, and then we'll verify the information together.
Okay.
Titan Roofing, the total done for summer work, $30,400. And again, we're going to have to verify this and compare apples to apples. I'm just gonna open up, put the numbers out there. Look at that. I cut myself here.
Right.
This is from Jennings Contracting. $12,750.
Sounds bad.
Yeah, they put the shingles on yourself.
Okay. Third bid is from BT Contracting.
Now, we had an extra on there, we needed to comply with that. Is that it?
Yeah, I have to read that to see where they added that in, where it's put on the bottom. BT Contracting is, again, somebody we've used before. They actually built the highway garage. BT Contracting, $18,900. And the last bid is from Paragon Roofing. $35,100. And again, I'd like to say, we certainly have to, we're not awarding any bids tonight. This is just so we have an idea what it would be. We certainly have to look at these, compare apples to apples. There's some questions I have on right away that I saw. And then, what I'll do is verify some of this information, and we'll have to talk about the next meeting. I said we're not going to make any decisions tonight, obviously. There's quite variation in bids, and I'd like to verify why that is.
Is it none or none?
Okay, so there's the 4 bids, and again, I'll look into it, I'll verify some of this information, I'll bring it back to the next meeting, we'll go over, get the details of where it worked out, and we'll go over it and decide if we want to consider moving forward this year, and Bob's pushing for that, or if we want to wait and budget for next year. Again, we can have a discussion.
Yeah, one of the things that I did notice right outside here was a couple more shingle pieces that blew off the roof, and I was gonna kind of move to the side so, they didn't get run over and just on the right side. I moved them, they fell apart, they're brittle.
Yeah.
And if they're brittle, the ones that came off, I suspect that some of the others are too. So if we can figure out a way to do it, we probably should do it this year.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll look at that and find out what we can come back with a solid number for next month, and we'll move forward on this item. Okay, supervisor's report.
So you're gonna contact them?
I'm gonna go through this and verify the information, find out why there's a big discrepancy, and then I'll contact with any questions. I'll probably talk to all of them and find out, whatever questions I have, and I'll come back with information of what the overall sum of the information is and whatever right now.
Okay.
The 2 bids are quite a bit higher, and we'll certainly look at probably the lower 2, but let me go through and see if they match.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a lot to talk about. Again, I just want to remind everybody, because it only happens once or twice a year, hazardous waste, June 17th, 8 o'clock to 12 noon at the highway garage in Greenport. Just want to put that out. We'll put it out there in June again and make sure everybody realizes it. Consolidation efforts being pushed for town consolidations, shared services by the state. They're pushing like they did a few years back. We already share services with neighboring towns, Germantown and Livingston, as far as working with our highway departments. I don't really see any opportunity for us to take advantage of any other shared services at this point, other than consolidating towns, which was an idea that kicked around a few times, and that's not, I don't see as a reasonable thought, because I don't think anybody's going to, first of all, I would never vote to consolidate any other town with our tax rate the way it is compared to theirs. So, I don't see any advantage for us to, anything we can take advantage of as far as consolidation efforts to save any more money we do. But that has been a big push lately. Makes the governor sound good.
Yeah, I think the Association of Towns has had some weighed in with some thoughts on that also, right, which are not in line with the governor.
We're not gonna go there. Highway garage, the county highway garage expansion, that's something that's being looked at in the county. The county highway department needs additional room. They've been working on a very dilapidated building for years. We've talked about probably 5 or 6 years since it's been brought up about doing an addition to it, fixing it up, renovating it. Now we're looking at the possibility of having some kind of program or architect come in and design, see what they can come up with a design as far as how can we best use the space and maybe put another small building, outbuilding next to it to fit what they need to do. It's in the very early stages, but it is something that's going to be probably looked at here this year pretty hard because we certainly do need to do something. It's been very, very many years we've neglected, and I think it's deserved because we do need the space there.
Right, this is the same building where they do the hazardous waste
Yes.
collection? Yeah, okay, so I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Yeah, it's
It's
old.
a very dated building,
Yeah.
and they've had roof leaks, and it's just, there's just a ton of stuff to go on there. So, but we are going to get a programmer, some kind of engineering architect in there to take a look at it and give us some estimates on ideas. Again, the county's receiving extra funding, the highway department, the tune of $250,000 in addition to what they budgeted, which is a nice little bonus. I know they plan to just kicked around, and they plan on trying to use it for a truck, a new truck, put an extra truck in, a newer truck in the fleet, which is allowed, they can do that. So they're going to look at doing that and spend a little bit extra that they have on some, extra road maintenance. That's probably about all I have to go over to Kenny. If anybody has any questions, please contact me. The Easter egg hunt, I want to echo Dawn's comments. I want to especially thank all the volunteers. It turned out to be very nice event. We had quite a few kids there. It was quite a big turnout, I think. The weather was kind of cool, but there was a lot of people, and it's just amazing. I don't care how many eggs you put down. It takes about 30 seconds and the ground is clean. It's like a huge vacuum. It's like whoosh, gone. It's just fun to watch the kids do it. I had a blast, and I hope everybody enjoyed the King. And I certainly appreciate all the volunteers that made it happen. Other than that, that's about all I have. Move on to motion to pay abstracts.
Make a motion that we pay highway abstract number 5, vouchers 37 through 47 for the amount of $7,478.82.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Move we pay trust and agency abstract number 4, vouchers number 7 through 10, in the amount of $840.54.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move we pay general abstract number 5, vouchers 118 through 144, in a total of $4,686.10.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Is that Bob on the second? Or Chris?
Chris Bob.
Okay, we'll move on to public comments. Public communications, that we covered, that we didn't cover? No. No comments, and if the board has anything else, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Evan made the motion.
Carried. Thank you.